Hello, everyone. Popping in once again. And my message today is twofold. One is you might not be wrong, you might just be very, very early. And for two, you gonna have to stop listening to people and listen to God. So I have had the experience and talked to countless others who've experienced this same thing. I've been a person that has had the experience of having certain ideas or thinking of certain things and really not sharing with a lot of people, but somehow or another, someone that I would share with that I thought would be able to relate would often kind of ever so politely downplay. And for a long time, I didn't know what that was, but I won't even get into what it actually is. But what I learned over time is oftentimes I am not wrong. I'm just very, very early. And it used to not make a lot of sense to me at all. But what I've learned is that people who think in a similar type of order and fashion are impeccable with pattern recognition. And not only pattern recognition, but have an eye for what is to come in different ways. Um, Depending on what school of thought you are from, even within Christendom, some people may say that that is something of a prophetic nature. And then other people might say, oh, you're just neurodivergent. And because of the way your brain works, you pick up some of everything. And that's how you be knowing before you be knowing. Whichever one of those is cool. In this context, it doesn't really even matter why it is. But because I've been a person like that, oftentimes when I would share certain things, people would say things that I guess they wouldn't insult me, but they would pretty much like downplay the validity or the importance of what I was saying. I remember one particular incident, and for whatever reason, this incident it just comes to my mind often when I'm talking about this topic of, and I can't say the idea because I don't want to. It's cool. I don't want to put anyone out. But there was a particular idea that I had. This had to have been like 5 or 6 years ago, and I remember mentioning it to someone, and that person being like, "I don't really think I think it's gonna take a little more than that in order to make an impact on people." Well, it wasn't many days hence before all over Instagram and all over YouTube, people were doing exactly what I had said. I think this would probably be valuable in this space. And not only did I see it all over the internet, the person who told me, I don't think that's gonna was doing it. That was one of the things that reminded me, like, for one, be careful who you talk to about stuff because sometimes people don't mean no harm. They're just not there yet. And they will discourage you and then turn around and see somebody else doing it and jump on it. Don't listen to people, and you might not be wrong. You might just be early. That is why it is so important as a person of God, as a person who believes in the God of the universe, who created all things and all people and wrote the plan for all of us. He's the one that we need to know the best because he's the one that's going to tell us the way that we should go. He's also going to guide us to the right people to be in fellowship with. He's also going to lead us in the right direction when we're going the wrong way, because ultimately it's all for his glory, and the work that we do, the ideas that we have, the things that we invest ourselves and our time in, um, especially as believers in Christ, it's supposed to ultimately be for for His glory, and it's never all about us. If anything, we are blessed, we are privileged, we are humbled that God would even use us as a part of His divine plan for creation. So remember that. be encouraged. You got to get the point where you stop listening to folks, just people, random people. Now God will send you, if you don't already have, and many of you already have leaders in a church, community of faith, a church, maybe other people who are doing the same kind of work that God has called you to do. Other than those strategic people, sometimes you just have to be in tune with God, because He will even tell you, He will even allow you to hear a word from somebody random who you might not even normally think of, that will be someone that would give you wisdom or encouragement. But God knows who you need to hear from and what you need to hear, for such a time as this, in order to push you on towards Him, and the things that have to do with His kingdom. So you might not be wrong. If you notice, a lot of times you might just be very, very early, and so when you're one of those, you have to be very careful, of who you say things to, and sometimes if you say anything at all, or sometimes of being sure that you are obedient to what God told you to do, and you're not waiting on the go ahead from someone who may not quite see it yet.